She got a video camera, and she was taping this dude who was sitting on a bike, and this guy was making arm motions, and she was like, "This is a sign. He's trying to say, something." And this car keeps passing by, and look at all these people going by, and it's Tuesday morning. There's too many people for Tuesday morning. And I was just thinking about it. Why are you important? You're not. You're just one person. There's, people don't have time. The government doesn't have time to stalk all these people in order to be, trying to get all of you to watch you. The government doesn't have time. People don't have time. There's nothing really that special about you. It's not like you have something important to the government that they want.
I realized the cyclist was sitting at the corner. I actually discovered him after I zoomed in. As he's approached the corner, there's no indication that they know the guy until they get close to him. Watch as a blonde woman walks toward him, and obviously he says something to her, and she turns around and looks in my direction. The blonde woman points at me. Watch now as the guy on the bike signals someone else. He looks at his wrist as though looking at the time, then turns his palms upward as if to say, "I don't know what's going on." This is just before a cyclist and a car come by. Certain behaviors are repeated in order to let the victim know that something is happening. In my case, cars, cyclists, and pedestrians are used when I leave the house, and also when I'm coming back to the house.
And the idea of gang stalking and that there are every person on the street is watching and making hand signals, it just honestly sounds like schizophrenia. It sounds like you're crazy, and there have been no proven cases of gang stalking ever. And there's even a book out about it where they talk about how the KKK started the movement and stuff like that. It's just ridiculous, the idea of it. I don't know. There's a lot of crazy theories out there on the internet. I don't know. I don't know who out there, if you guys have heard anything crazier than this, because gang stalking is the craziest conspiracy theory I've heard of. I don't have this. And one of the things she said in this video, which I will link, is that the people who are usually involved in gang stalking don't have jobs. So this guy that she's watching in this video, that's watching her while sitting on his bike, doesn't have a job. But where does he get money from then? Does the government pay everyone that's stalking you? Are your friends and family part of the conspiracy? How crazy is this?
I never go out without one of my friends following me. There goes another one. Another one. I told you that every time I go out there, a helicopter's over my head. You think I was paranoid, right? Taking a picture of you. Taking a picture of me. The one on the right-hand side of the screen just flashed before I started filming it. So a little light goes, kind of like that. And we've got more of them over there. Now somebody might say that this has to do with security, but I'll tell you what, security hasn't been any more or any less since those cameras have been there. Only difference is that when I walked by before they were there, the lights didn't go. That's the whole difference. Did you see it flash just now? Yeah, there you go. I told you it flashes. I told you it does. That's the one that's facing right toward me. See the other ones are facing on a 45-degree angle sort of to that? That one is right on me. And looking through the camera, I see some sort of oscillation of little bitsies in there. He's looking right at me. He's probably pointing microwaves at me too. What the hell? You only live once. The thing that a person needs to do when you get into this line of investigation is you gotta develop a healthy attitude and a good sense of humor about death and torture. I just asked one of the bus drivers what these things are. He says, "It's their life. What do you think?" Well, if they're life, then how come they don't light? It's flashed at me again. Maybe they are lights after all, sort of. Take those stuff out. They keep flashing. Sometimes you see like a light running across it, sort of, as though it's green. Sometimes it just flashes. There it goes flashing. Before, like a light ran across it from the left side of the screen to the right side of the screen. Taking pictures of you, taking pictures of me. You know, once upon a time, before digital cameras and before the internet, when people claimed that these things existed, they had absolutely no proof, and they put them away. People would say, you know, walking down the street and these like lights are flashing at me, or, you know, there are hidden antennas or all kinds of things, and they put people away. Brilliant, wonderful people like John Nash. But today, we've got proof. Because my delusions don't come out on film. And when I say that a light flashes at me, and you see it flash, you know it's real. You can see activity.
As I understand the memorandum from the President, it's for you to determine if current legislation is adequate in protecting individuals and authors in the ongoing experimentation. Reviewing the common rule, it's very obvious that there's a lot of loopholes to informed consent. All of the horrific experiments you've mentioned, Willowbrook, MKUltra, radiation experiments, mostly were done without informed consent. They were funded by the DoD and intelligence agencies. Well, I'm not even so sure you would know if there's an IRB, much less if an IRB is looking at informed consent. As a physician, relative to some of what you're hearing today, in the community, we are seeing an alarming rate of complaints of use of electromagnetic weapons. Microwave auditory effects, silent sound spectrum, EEG cloning, which has taken the lab out of the laboratory and into the home. Most of these, from the research that we reviewed, can be done remotely. It seems to be more weapons research than medical research. I personally corresponded with upwards of 1,500 victims, all complaining of identical complaints from every state in the nation of being exposed to electromagnetic radiation, non-ionizing radiation for the use of cognitive control or behavior control. I submitted a paper to you, and there's another paper submitted to each member from another physician in Kansas City, alluding to the same thing.
Good afternoon. My name is Connie Marshall. I'm a former mayoral candidate from Louisville, Kentucky. I have never been involved in any criminal activity. I found a document in my bank account that said, "Problem with Kentucky government. Check federal government paperwork and file before releasing information to anyone." I am an 8-year victim survivor of assaults by directed energy weapons. The torture I've experienced consists of body overheating, body extremely cold, seizures, heart pain, earaches, itching behind eyes, burning behind eyes, swelling, headaches, involuntary movement of my limbs, exhaustion, speeding and heart racing, hair coming out by the handfuls as if I'd had chemotherapy, mind paralysis, being hypnotized or placed in a trance-type state, being tracked by a drone or satellite, controlled dreams, sleep deprivation, V2K, which is voice to skull, projected sound, extreme muscle spasms, and extreme muscle cramps, being made to fall down, blue circles around the pupils of my eyes, and I'm here and you can look at them if you like, low frequency noises in my home, high frequency noises in my home, sexual stimulation, numerous electrical appliances in my home are destroyed, 4 computers, 2 fax machines, 7 telephones, 4 CD players, VCR, DVD players, electrical igniter switch on my furnace, washer and dryer, air conditioner, also my car radio, CD player, and engine were destroyed. I am watched in my home 24 hours a day and followed around everywhere I go, though I do not have a criminal history. When I ran for mayor in my town, I was also attacked at debates and forums. My website is www.justiceforallcitizens.com. Thank you. And I would like to leave these flyers with you all as well.
We have actually this is a minority of us. Approximately, let's say, I've spoken to probably 3,000 people. He's on probably 1,500. He's on 5,000. There's a lot of us across the U.S. And there's certain statistics, I think, that if you find that there is something going on wrong, that you're going on wrong, that somewhere along the line somebody has to do an investigation. There's a certain percentage of illness. You do an investigation. If there's a certain amount of cancers in an area, same as Brockovich went and did an investigation. She found a certain amount. Well, we're presenting our case right now. You said you guys wanted to be in the know. We're giving you the information now so that you are in the know. There is something going on. It's electromagnetically issue, and it has to do with from cell phones all the way to directed energy. And I think yesterday some of the colleagues went ahead and said that we didn't really talk about whether there's energy weapons or not, but we have thousands and thousands of documentations about energy weapons themselves, and all we're asking for is an investigation on this. People are being harmed, people are being tortured, and people are being killed, and I think it's a pretty important thing for a bioethic committee to look into, and all we ask today is to please do that. And Mark, on March 1st, 2011, we came to you and we told you, and I don't know how many more people, my friends are dead, tortured to death by electronic weapons. And I don't know how many more people will die, and I hope I will be here again if you have this.
In this episode, the Nazi Pig Theorem or NPT by Alan Barker. Anyone who non-consensually violates your brain-mind mentation using Mengele-like methods is a Nazi pig. You do not care what a Nazi pig thinks. You do not care about a Nazi pig's opinions. You do not respond to a Nazi pig ridiculing you, threatening you, trying to distract you, or otherwise trying to manipulate you. You work to get a Nazi pig hanged. Isn't that obvious? Don't you believe it? Then remember it and act like you know it. NPT is as sharp as a razor. The contrapositive of NPT is also useful. If they are not Nazi pigs, then they are not raping your brain. So you can think anything about anyone. It's just you and the Nazis in your mind, and their opinions do not matter at all. If you have a passing thought about someone and the Nazis try to harass you with it or make you feel guilty about it, it does not matter. The Nazi pig's opinions do not matter unless they somehow help to get the pigs hanged. If you think some thought about someone who really is raping your brain, then you have some worse things to think about that Nazi piece of human garbage than what floated through your brain originally. One use of the Nazi pig theorem is to try to go on with ordinary life even as you are being tortured and you know the true, evil nature of the society you are living in. Spend some time each day working for justice in the physical world, and the rest of the time try to ignore the Nazi pigs and get on with your life as best as you can. My philosophy is basically to wish people well, and an indifferences I have had with people or water under the bridge after not too long. But atrocities never, ever pass under the bridge. The victims never forget, and never should forget. Of course any victim is free to choose to forgive his or her torturers, but for torturers to lecture their victims about forgiveness is the Christianity of the oppressor. Forgiveness also does not